So I'm often asked a lot about our portfolio. So obviously we work with a lot of investors to build a single let buy-to-let portfolio in South Wales in the UK. But a lot of people come up to me and say, look, you're promoting the benefits of real estate, of property, but what about your own portfolio? What do you invest yourself? This building behind me is a commercial printing shop, and it's exactly the sort of property that we buy ourselves. And in fact, we're about 2 months away from completing on this purchase ourselves. I can't go into figures on what we're buying it for, but what we're going to do is convert this building into a house and two flats, and we expect the market value of the property once renovated to be over £850, at least £800,000. So nearly £1 million worth of real estate there. We've actually got two JV partners on this. So people have got a pot of cash. They want to invest in more lucrative investments like this, when they're not just getting £200 for a single property. They're investing in real assets with us, literally building like a joint partnership with our stuff. We prioritize working with angel investments where they get a set return over X period, but these are more and more lucrative. We're going to use this property for SA, so service accommodation, Airbnb, books.com, so short-term stays for high cash flow, and we've managed the lending for it. We've obviously raised the finance for it. We're going to be carrying out the whole refurbishment, renovation for the project as well. So all the investors have to do is put the money into the pot. We give them the PGs and all those sort of things, the contracts to protect them, and then they get equity, cash flow, and appreciation on the back end of it. So proper win-win, and we're able to kind of proceed with the project because these is nearly worth £1 million on the back end. And we've got at least 3 others like this that we're actually doing at the moment. One of which I'll go through with you shortly on the next clip as well to give a breakdown of those figures. But just to give a breakdown of this one, so we're pretty much at completion now to get this purchased almost. It's going to be worth nearly £1 million once renovated, and the cash flow on this, the gross monthly income once renovated, we expect it to be around about £5,000. So obviously that's gross income, so that's the main pot of money coming in. But those sort of figures we look at for our own portfolio. I just want to add at this point as well, you can see the sort of service we provide, whether it's building someone else's single let portfolio or whether it's building these sort of projects for ourselves. The whole intention of us existing is that we have the team of lenders, brokers, build teams, so obviously builds, etc., that we work with, and solicitors. So we've got a trusted core power team that we work with, whether it's ourselves or whether it's clients, so we can provide a good service. Because the whole point of people working with us, whether they want to work with us on our own portfolio for more lucrative projects over time or the single lets, they can trust us to do the work, because we do this day in, day out, literally. Because half my time is either raising finance for these projects or working with ourselves or working with clients, to build their stuff. So either way, we do a full end-to-end service so that people could put the money into something and get a return on the back end. So that's project number 1 that we currently have on the go at the moment. The reason for this video is more just opening all the viewers' eyes in terms of what we actually do, because we kind of, half our time is split into 2 now. So half our time is split onto the sourcing, which is more portfolio building for clients who have a pot of cash, who want to build a single let portfolio. But this video is more about the way that we kind of build our own portfolio, because for a bit of context, myself got into property to build a portfolio, and the whole reason of the sourcing is so I can do that in coalition to help people who don't know how to, basically, pretty much. So you can see the scale to which we work on. At least to us, that's quite a big scale now, where it's £1 million kind of projects. If the property's going to be worth £1 million and we're buying 3 of them, naturally, it's quite a lot of investments going on at once, and much bigger refurbs. So for context, if you're doing the sourcing, we're typically expecting around about a 30 or 40k renovation for a full refurb. This project number 1 I've just showed you then, and project number 2 I'm going to show you in a second, these projects are literally between 120 to 165 grand renovation, so massive scaled up renovations. You can see the size of them. So that's I'll talk you through project number 2 now as well, and then talk you through how we've kind of approached these projects and how we kind of work with people with them. Project number 2 is in Merthyr. So all these projects in South Wales, for a bit of context. This project number 2 is in Merthyr Tydfil. It's a very sought after area for our single let clients, but also conveniently, we do a lot of marketing for our bespoke clients with the sourcing. And by pure coincidence, through that marketing came a lead with a seller, an owner of a property, and we've agreed terms to take it on ourselves. This property is literally about 130 square meters, so it's twice the size of a normal property, so it's massive. And while I'll be uploading a video on that in the coming weeks, because we're close to completion on that, on the purchase for that as well. That's fantastic news. So yeah, we've basically approached that one where that's, I'll put a photo up here of it now so you can kind of see. It's currently completely run down, horrible state, and we're going to make that a 6-bed, like a mini HMO almost, where you're going to have 6 little like mini flats. Each is going to have some bathroom and for an ensuite, and it's going to have a kitchenette. So it's like 6 mini little flats in the building. So it allows us to increase the actual the accommodation in the area. So it helps, with the housing crisis sort of thing, but also helps kind of build up portfolio at the same time. So those sort of figures are great. And the sort of figures we're talking about for this project, for project number 2, we've actually got it for free. We've agreed with the vendor to take it on for free. We're going to pay an X amount upon the refinance, which I can break down later on how this all works. In fact, what I'll do is I'll do a breakdown of that exact video when we're up there in 2 weeks' time, where hopefully we've completed on the project then. I'll break down the figures, etc. But long story short, we've agreed for free. We'll be carrying out the full renovation. It's about 130 grand, 120 grand worth of renovation. And we're expecting the value of the property to be, once renovated, to be about 310 grand. So about 310k sort of thing. Commercial valuations, that helps as well. So back to the reason for this video. Now, the whole point of this video is the fact that we work on projects ourselves as well, and these are much bigger projects than what we typically work with our bespoke clients. The reason is that I've been a property now for 5 years, if not 6 years now altogether. We've got a lot of experience, made a lot of mistakes, and therefore we know most of the things to look out for when we're doing these bigger projects. Because if with HMOs you have planning issues, with the project number 1 I just showed you, then there was a lot of complications with getting lending sorted out for it. Those sort of things take a lot of patience, experience, and just general experience, so that you're avoiding mistakes as you go along. So when we work with a bespoke sourcing client, we keep it super simple with them. But with these other much bigger projects, we really look to scale ours a lot quicker. And we work with investors on these exact sort of projects. So our main go-to for these sort of projects is not like, if we had a new investor reach out to us tomorrow who had 100k in the bank or something, or 50 grand, wanted to invest in these sort of projects, we highly recommend using them as an angel, where they can get a fixed return over X amount of period. Way better than the banks. Very little paperwork involved, and it's very much all official, and they're protected, but there's less hassle. Simple as that. So that's great. So that's our go-to with investors. We also work with, the way that we tend to work as well with the sourcing is that if we've got a couple of projects with a sourcing client and they've built some trust up with us and we know the client really well and we want to work with that sort of person, we do tend to transition over to these bigger projects, which the cash flow is much higher, the equity is much higher. There's a lot, but the equity is actually less actually, but the actual, let's say you've got a £1 million asset and you've got 30% equity. That equity is worth 300 grand, whereas with a single let, it'd be worth about 100 grand. So those sort of figures stack up really well. So point is, you got much more lucrative investments that we like to work with clients on. So if you want to work on these sort of projects, we highly recommend starting out as an angel, where you can work and get a return on your investment, on your actual financial investment. But we do open a door to certain individuals who are open to kind of getting equity in these sort of purchases, building a long-term relationship that way, because everything that we do for our portfolio is buy and hold. Absolutely everything. We're a big fan of appreciation, portfolio building, etc. And it helps the investor help us, and it helps us help the investor both ways, because we're helping them get return on their investment and long-term investment. We're doing the work, and we're also kind of benefiting them, and they're building our portfolio. So win-win, So yeah, if you want to get involved in projects like this, which are worth between anywhere from 300 grand to over 850 grand once renovated, even the third project we're doing at the moment, which I'll keep separate to save any boredom on this video, is going to be worth about 305 grand. That's a HMO conversion as well. That's a commercial conversion with a HMO above it. So these sort of projects are really lucrative. If you want to get involved in these sort of projects, I'll leave a booking link to booking a call with us in the comments on the on the description of the video, so you can kind of book in a call with us. We can sit down, have a conversation, see how we can help you move forward in this. And if so, comment yes if you want to get involved as well, and then also just book the call link. So simple answer: comment yes below, or use the link in the description that I'll leave there to book in a call with us. That's always the best way, because then you can book in a call with us. We can have a conversation and look to get you involved in these sort of projects, because they're very lucrative. For a bit of context as well, the sort of cash flow on these sort of projects, you're looking for project number one, you're looking about £5,000 gross per month once renovated. So it's about £3,000 net income for the whole each month, so split between all parties. And then we're looking at for project number two, you're looking at about £4,000 gross. So it kind of evens out in terms of the purchase price to cash flow. So yeah, you're talking about £2,000 net for that project as well. So you can see the benefits of this growing, and we manage the actual tenancy. So whether it's SA or anything, we manage that on the back end. So the whole thing is leveraged for us, you know. But if an investor is investing, we do all the work, they get the investment. That's just how this works, you know. The investor makes it possible, and they get equity, cash flow, and we do the workload. So if this is of interest to you, comment, book in a call with us, and we'll reach out to you.